Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Hina Mazarudin and I am your Vice President for PAs in Virtual Medicine and Telemedicine. Today I'd like to continue the series that mirrors and complements our educational webinars that we do for our PA students to share and shed some light on real-life examples of how PAs utilize telemedicine in their respective fields. My intention is that this serve as an opportunity for us to highlight our amazing members, but also to connect and serve as an introduction so that we can all learn from each other. You know that I believe that we are stronger together. So without further ado, let's get started. Everyone, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today I have another amazing PA who is going to be sharing her specialty and what she does and utilizes telemedicine. This is one that is very near and dear to me because it also happens to be my specialty. But let me introduce you to Karli. Hi Karli, how are you?
Hey everyone, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Can you start by stating your name, how long you've been a PA for, the area of medicine that you practice into, please?
Sure. So my name is Karli Burridge. I have been a PA for almost 12 years, and for 9 of those years, I've been working in obesity management. So I started out kind of in bariatric surgery, and I've transitioned more to really obesity medicine, doing the medical treatment of obesity. So that's what I primarily do now.
Tell us a little bit more about your experience using telemedicine in this specialty, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago that we really started to hear more about telemedicine in obesity management at conferences and things like that. And it makes so much sense for obesity medicine because, first of all, we have a lot of frequent follow-ups. So that's one thing that makes obesity medicine different is we really see our patients usually on a monthly basis and sometimes even more frequently than that. And so for patients, that's difficult to take time off work, to, arrange their schedule so that they're able to come in that frequently. So for that reason, telemedicine is perfect because it really facilitates the process for the patient. And then another thing is in obesity medicine, we do mostly counseling, right? So we're doing counseling on nutrition, physical activity, other behaviors, sleep, stress management. We're doing pharmacotherapy management. And so a lot of that is counseling. So a lot of that can be done perfectly via telemedicine. So when I moved to Illinois in 2019 and I was getting ready to start yet another obesity management program, I said, in this one, I want to incorporate telemedicine because it just makes so much sense. And initially, I actually got a little bit of pushback from the surgeons. It was also within a bariatric surgery practice. And they said, why don't you just get the medical program up and running, and then we'll see if we can incorporate telemedicine down the road. But I was pretty insistent on that. I wanted to have it kind of from the beginning. So I had everything set up for it. And then the pandemic hits. And of course, so I kind of had everything set up already. And so we were able to switch from one day to the next to go pure 100% telemedicine. Even the surgeons went 100% telemedicine one day to the next. And so that's what we did throughout most of the pandemic. And still now it's a lot of telemedicine, which I think is ideal for obesity medicine.
Absolutely. So I have a very similar story to yours. Same thing with obesity medicine. And as you know, we do so much counseling and it's such a frequent follow up with us. In fact, in my practice, initially when they start with us, it's a weekly check in that we're doing with them. So exactly like you said, with the pandemic, because we were able to utilize telemedicine as our platform, we were able to just kind of, like you said, we continued as if nothing happened, and we kept our patients on track as well. And telemedicine ended up being a great resource and a tool for both us and our patients.
Right, absolutely. And even remote patient monitoring and things like that can be used well in obesity medicine.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you like about telemedicine and what you find to be a challenge, please?
Yeah. So what I really like about it is especially for the patients. Like I said, it's just so difficult for them with those frequent follow-ups. We had patients who were driving, more than an hour each way to come and see us. So for the patients, it's so much more convenient. We had patients who weren't able to join the program or had to drop out of the program because they weren't able to continue with the frequent follow-up schedule. And so for the patients, I really like it. And what that did for us is it really reduced our no-shows and it actually increased the revenue and the productivity of our program. We saw more patients. We actually saw a growth during the pandemic rather than, a lot of other practices that we're seeing a decrease. We saw a growth and our patients were actually doing very well because of the telemedicine portion. So I really like that about it. I also like that we get a little glimpse into our patients' homes and their environments, because that can tell you a lot about what your patient might be struggling with. So for those reasons, I really like it. One of the things that was a little bit of a struggle, especially early on when you're first getting somebody started with it, is just collecting the vitals and the weight and doing all of that. And we didn't have a lot of support set up where I didn't have, a medical assistant or a front office person like call the patient first to kind of get them set up, make sure we have all of those things before we got the visit started. So that was, a little bit of a transition there, especially for the patients as well. Once they were used to it, they knew that they had to have these, things before the visit were ready. So those are some of the challenges, and we kind of worked through them, but they can still be some challenges, I think, in telemedicine. So, yeah.
All right, if you could please share with us a clinical pearl or a words of wisdom, something with our PA students and our practicing PAs, please.
Yeah, I would say if your dream job doesn't exist, create it. I think I don't think maybe one time very early on in my career, I actually applied for a job. But other than that, I just created the job. And I think that in obesity medicine, we have such an opportunity to do that. First of all, and your students and your practicing PAs, they may not receive a lot of education on obesity management in their training. And so one pearl would be is to try to get that training. We have our Facebook group right now, PAs in Obesity Medicine. You can join that for free. There are organizations like the Obesity Medicine Association that have really reduced clinician and training pricing. And so obesity medicine is a really neat field because there's pretty much not an organ system that's not affected by obesity. There's not a disease state that's not affected by obesity. So you can do so much for the patient's overall health. So I guess I have my two pearls of wisdom is one would be create your own job if your dream job doesn't exist. And two is if you have an interest is to get more involved and educated on obesity management.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Karli, for joining us. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.